And this afternoon, we're announcing new guidelines for every American to follow over the next 15 days. As we combat the virus, each and every one of us has a critical role to play in stopping the spread and transmission of the virus.
In a society where we see so much distance already, now we are physically distant. In a world where there is so much loneliness, now we're facing self-quarantines and isolation.
President Trump holding a lengthy news conference with an update on where we are with the fight against the coronavirus. The government essentially publishing a set of new guidelines. Many have already been surpassed by some things that we've seen on the state and local level. Perhaps the only major difference is now a suggestion that people not gather in groups larger than 10, and that's certainly consistent again with some other things we've seen happening around the country. As the president was talking, the market was in a free fall. The Dow losing down almost 3,000 points. I missed the percentage. I think about 13% loss there. The S&P down 324.
Courage, man. So I will transfer you my energy. I will transfer my karma. Here is my karma on you. You have a great aura. Encourage, man. Yes.
On today's show, we talk about navigating the corona economy. How do you succeed in a world filled with fear? How do you persevere in a world where most people believe that tomorrow is going to be worse than today? On today's show, we talk about the importance of faith, the importance of believing that you can succeed, and we are going to supply you with that encouragement that you need to succeed and lead in this world of the coronavirus.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes, Dr. Z, it is always ecstasy when you're next to me, and yes, I do know what it means.
Yes, you do.
But
do you know what a pandemic is? That's the real definition I want.
Pandemic?
Yeah. Do you know what a pandemic is?
Well, let me pull up the pandemic. Let me just read off here the definition.
Okay.
I'm going to read it off to the listeners out there.
I was going to do according to the World Health Organization.
Well, let me go with my definition.
Oh, okay. I think that's
and then
fair.
you can one up me with the real definition.
Sure.
My
okay.
definition is it's prevalent, it's like a disease that's prevalent for the whole country or the whole world. Would you want to one up me with something more accurate?
The World Health Organization's official definition of a pandemic is it's an epidemic occurring worldwide or over a very wide area, crossing international boundaries and usually affecting a large number of people. A large number of people. How many people do you think that is? When you hear the word, you have 7 billion people in this world. What do you think would be a large number?
Got to be millions, right?
I don't know. Is that
I don't even
millions?
think millions out of billions. It doesn't seem like that big of a number.
I think it needs to be half.
It needs to be.
I've seen a lot of zombie
half?
movies.
Okay,
It's just half the world has to have it.
Okay.
For it to be a
just in.
pandemic, I mean that's a pretty strong. I mean, you know what? We have 1,500 cases out of 330 million people, and it's a pandemic.
Can I start at the bottom and really get, because you said it's a worldwide epidemic, right? Affecting a large group of
according to
people?
the World Health Organization,
Yeah.
crossing international boundaries and usually affecting a large number of people.
Yeah.
The CDC defines pandemic as an epidemic that has spread over several countries or continents, usually affecting a large number of people. Here again, it's always a large number. When I think large, I think large.
Well, epidemic,
I don't
the
think
word
medium.
epidemic means a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community or at a particular time. So I thought what we'd do is let's bring on some real business owners on today's show that are really out there doing things in the actual economy. Yeah, you're going to be infected. Whoa. You see that? Freudian slip.
Easy now.
You'll be affected by these occurrences. And so what we're talking about today is how do you navigate a business? How do you navigate the Corona economy? So, Mayor, we have the mayor here of Broken Arrow, and Aaron, you know this man. Who is this man? Mayor Craig Thurmond.
This is Craig Thurmond.
Could you
mayor
verify
of Broken Arrow for the last 8 years?
How do you know him?
Well, originally from before he was mayor, doing business with him in developing land and putting in streets and all of the underground for creating a new home development. And then, lo and behold, all of a sudden, one day, he's the mayor.
If you had to draw a pie chart as to why he was elected, what percentage of it would be based on just sheer physical beauty?
Well, I would
90?
say there's this tiny little slice that doesn't include how beautiful of a person he is.
You can't just hide behind your beauty forever there, Mayor. So, Mayor, we want to tap into your intellect on today's show. Tell us what's going on in Broken Arrow right now. How are you as the mayor dealing with the Corona economy?
Well, we signed a declaration. I signed a declaration today that said that if on city property we can't have more than 50 people gather at one time. The economy, though, how we're dealing with that, I mean, it's really not good for anyone that we're acting the way we're acting and not patronizing businesses, not doing some of the things that we normally do, I think. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I was just in D.C. last week, and we see I was on a committee that we had David Sander, who's a counselor from Rancho Cordova, California, and he is a virologist, has a PhD in virology. He's saying we're really overreacting to this, that the coronavirus is a cold.
And who is this guy?
His name is David Sander. He's a virologist. He's got a PhD in virology. He's a city councilor in the city of Rancho Cordova, California.
Yep.
And, was really talking about how is an overreaction. He said the virology world thinks that the actual mortality rate in this is 0.04%. He said of all the coronaviruses, there's 9 human viruses that are known to man.
Yeah.
And he said that SARS is the worst one. This is not as bad as SARS.
So why are you going to shut down public gatherings? Why can't we be the only city where we gather? We mean, you and I were planning the big German American festival we've been talking about for a long time.
I
had meant to invite Aaron, but the plans were too early in the development before he could really go all out. But this was the soundtrack we picked out.
Oh yeah,
and we were ready to go. We had tried to get our permit. And we realized that if we sent it, we could be denied, so we did not apply. We were just going to gather there in large groups and celebrate David Hasselhoff and Volkswagen and all the things that matter most to us here.
We got to love the Porsche.
Yeah, a little Porsche. We were going to celebrate it. Why can't we be the only city in America where people can gather? Because Germans never gather in flocks. We call them flocks of less than 51 people. That's just a rule.
Just a rule.
David Hasselhoff would not appreciate anything less than that.
No, he wouldn't.
We did sign this declaration today, and we just doing off CDC recommendations. So the reality is the CDC recommends that we do this for 8 weeks. I was really against doing it for 8 weeks. We don't have a
8 weeks?
8 weeks. That's
8
what
weeks?
CDC is recommending that we.
Some people aren't married that long.
Right.
8 weeks. I mean, that's
we don't have a date on ours. We don't have a sunset on ours.
What?
We'll have to vote. I think we're going to see this within 2 to 4 weeks starting to subside.
Zohan, what do you think? Again, you're not the mayor, but if you were, you have some questions for the mayor. I'm sure you own businesses.
Yes.
And you've got the auto auction where you have hundreds of people there that are going to go there to buy cars, right? Hundreds at one time.
That's on private property.
It's on.
So you can do that.
That's where we're going to have the German American Festival to celebrate the life and times of David Hasselhoff.
And every girl named Heidi can braid her hair and show up, right?
Absolutely.
Are you going to wear your lederhosen?
My Lederhosen?
Your Lederhosen? Your Lederhosen?
Absolutely.
And then we're going to have Hans and Franz show up.
We go to pump it
and pump up the whole crowd.
What do you? I mean, seriously, are you worried about this? Does it bother you? What are you thinking? What questions would you have?
Am I worried about it? No. Am I bothered? Yes. I'm bothered.
You're bothered.
I'm bothered by the reaction and the effect it's going to have on the economy, the effect it's already having on the economy, businesses that are shutting down, schools that are shutting down, things that are shutting. I mean, if anybody should gather as young kids, they don't have anything to worry about. Number one.
So
but
if you were
sidebar, it's one of those things where it's kind of like. Is this the flu season every year? Is this our new normal?
Well, I'm going to give you
flu.
This is the real stuff. This is the real stuff. And Mayor, I'm gonna argue with you, and then you can argue back. You know why? Because you're the mayor. But at the end of the day, we're gonna riot. And I've got my riot gear here. I got my. So
I'm getting 49 people together outside to go march the streets. So we're gonna
somebody hold Billy back. We can't have 50 people. Okay, so you have 1,772 people that die per day Per day. This is a daily thing from heart disease.
This is in the U.S. alone.
Yeah.
Put it in perspective. That's in
So
the U.S. alone.
why aren't you banning eating at fast food restaurants? Why don't you go into why don't you go into Andolini's where somebody who's
banning obesity? Why don't you go around with
I'm just saying,
with the scale
for the guy who's having like this third order of garlic knots, and you shouldn't have had it any more ever again. Why don't you walk up to him and you take the garlic knots away from him and say, "I ban your early death,"
and then you beat him with it? Actually,
well, how come you
take
don't
him
do
and
that?
You hit him with
Why
it.
don't you do that? We're gonna go one by one. I've got some suggestions. Why can't we ban fast food?
Well, I mean, I think people have the freedom of choice, so they can say that that's what they want to do. They want to eat and they want to get overweight. That's something they can do. We have some people die. We have we've had over 20,000 people die this year from the flu, and we're not talking about the flu right now. I noticed when I was in D.C. that about a third of the men that even go in a men's room, about a third of the men don't wash their hands.
Oh, that's dirty, by the way.
That
but
is
dirty. The fact that you're there counting that is kind of weird.
But as I saw this last week, everybody in the men's room was washing their hands. So I mean, this is probably a good thing that we're actually making some people are actually doing some things that they should be doing. They should have been doing all along. But I mean, we can avoid a lot of illness if we would just follow some.
How come though? In all sincerity here now, the flu in 2018, we know the flu killed a total per day of 167.39 people per day. How come the city of Broken Arrow at that point wasn't banning public gatherings at that point? Because that is a question someone wants to know. Why are you doing it now? Why are you not doing it then? I ask the hard-hitting questions.
What if you're one of those 0.39 that 0.39 of your body died? What if that was you? And you think, man, if they had just banned that rock concert, if they had just kept me from going to see and Cher that one time.
You can't ban Cher.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Cher's worth dying to see, right?
Well, there you go.
If I could turn back time, darn it! Why aren't
if I could give you Corona,
why didn't you ban Cher concerts back 2018?
Yeah, would you just let her just run amok, just run everywhere she wanted to go?
We did let her run amok. And
seriously, I want to know what flavored this decision. Why is this one different? Is it because everybody has social media? Is it because you're hearing something more concerning from the CDC? What's the thing?
Well, I think it is a little concerning. The only challenge with this virus that makes it any different than other viruses is that you can be completely healthy and have it and not have any symptoms. We look at South Korea. There's no one under 30 in South Korea that's died. No one under 50 has died in Japan. So a lot of people are dying or getting this disease. Very few people, I think, when we look at this, are going to die.
I think we all have it right now, and we just don't know it.
Well, we all get the corona. I mean, say everyone in the world is going to have some type of coronavirus before they die.
There's several.
What a negative
whole family. It's a whole family. Yeah, it's negative.
And negative.
There's 4 coronaviruses that go around the world every year that cause a common cold. So the reality is that we're getting coronavirus is pretty common. When you think about it.
So what do you think makes this one so unique? And what has this?
Well, the
one,
name is pretty cool.
What do you think has this one just captured the media? Has captured society? Now we've named it a pandemic. We've quarantined people. We've shut things down.
We had to put the no making out with the co-host rule in the man cave.
Well, but we won't follow that. We will never follow
that. I already violated that 3 times so far.
I was going to say,
what makes it so different? What is the thing?
What do you think it is? What do you think it is, Mayor?
Well,
you're in the know.
Personally, I think a lot of it's media hype that we're getting over this. It's not really as bad as it's. When you talk about the fact that. I saw on Facebook, which that's part of the problem is we have Facebook.
I think Facebook is a huge problem in general. I just want to ban that.
I saw someone talk about the fact that. Do you really need 144 rolls of toilet paper for 14 days of quarantine? You should have probably gone to the doctor before that if that was your problem. So I think that we're really overdoing this. You go to the grocery store and the shelves are halfway bare. And it's the same thing we do when we have a storm around here, but it's even worse now. So I think that there is some overreaction. The only reason that the city has banned some large gatherings are the fact that we're just trying to err on the side of caution.
And again, my job is to argue with you on behalf of the concerned citizens of Broken Arrow who don't have the opportunity to.
Right.
So I'm saying this, and I mean this sincerely, and then you have the talking stick, and I'll stop, and then Aaron, you can kind of moderate. You're almost like, it's like Bernie and Trump trying to work it out here. I'm saying, think about this for a second. 167 people die. 167 people die per day from the flu, but a lot more could die from the flu. Cars, 104 people die per day from car wrecks. I guess we could, and I know people. I do know people that will not drive because of the potential of a car wreck. I also see, we'll break it down for the entrepreneurs out there, 96% of businesses fail within 10 years, according to Inc. magazine. And I see so many people with a sound mind sending me super stupid text messages. Can we find my phone? I got some super stupid text messages I would like to read on the show today. If we can find my phone, they're going, is this a good time to be in business? What the hell are you talking about? So I just want to know, what are we supposed to sit around and be poor and wait for? I've seen this before. Aaron, Shaw Homes, have you guys not navigated some bad economies?
Oh, yeah. I actually moved to Oklahoma to come to work at Shaw Homes in 2007. Now, I was in the Metro Detroit market. You want to be in a bad real estate market?
Yes.
2007 in Detroit was about as bad as it gets. And I will tell you that coming here in 2007 and trying to get things off the ground and really rolling.
Yes.
Everybody and their brother was saying, oh, this is the worst possible time you could ever come
And see, didn't you buy a bank? What year did you buy a bank?
It was 2008. Bad timing. Bad.
You bought
bad timing.
You bought a bank, though, at the bottom of the right when you bought it, it was okay, and then the bottom just fell out.
Yeah, we're out counting cows.
And for the listeners out there that don't know this story, go to bankregent.com. What was the bank that you guys bought?
It was Regent. It was first National Nowata.
National Nowata.
And then they got rebranded to Regent Bank right before we bought it.
Nowata? Are you getting into slang?
Nowata.
Nowata. Oh, Nowata. N-O-W-A-T-A. You bought it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then the economy fell apart. And what did you guys do in your meetings? Did you guys
cry a lot?
No, seriously. Did you guys ban getting deposits because you might fail?
No, we were out just the opposite, trying to get business and get good loans and trying to just survive.
Should we ban marriages because they might not work out? Should we ban going to college because most people don't use their degree? Should we ban? At what level? What's the logic here? I just want to know your take, and then I'm going to go for me.
I think we should ban everything. You're right. I think we pretty much should ban it all.
There's people like this. This is the text message. I don't want to show the person's name. I'm just going to read it right now. This is why people should not be able to text me. Oh, it says
you can block them.
How has the economy and small business been affected by the corona, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? It makes people nervous that this is not a good time to start a business. Do you agree that this is not a good time to be in business? This is the text message. What do you do if you're in business? You just go, that's not a good time to be in business.
Shut it down.
I probably just should. Mayor, I want to gather with a group of 51 people, and I want to get a Moscow Mule tonight, and then I want to die. No, I'm being serious. I want to die while having a Moscow Mule with 51 people. I said, get in here, Billy. Billy, get in here. And they say, Billy can't come in. There's only 49 of you allowed. And I said,
Billy, come on.
See, don't you? Seriously, I want to die without fear. You know what I mean?
I don't know which is more crippling. Is this virus more crippling, or is it the fear that the virus is causing more crippling?
Well, so far in 55 days, we've killed 69 Americans. 69 Americans have died in 55 days.
Right.
And those 69 deaths, if you think about the value they have to the economy, how much has the value of the stock market gone down?
Oh, quite a bit.
10,000 points?
Yeah, I think I have
today,
to check. I pull it up.
3,000 just today.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. People are losing their life savings and 401ks and whatnot because they're put into the stock market. We have major companies, i.e., our airlines, travel agencies.
So the economy's gone down 144 points on the Dow Jones per death.
Per death.
Wow,
that's crazy.
I'm just asking. Again, I say all this, and then I give it back to you. So you're saying that you feel like it's the wise, responsible. I'm not mayor, and I don't know what that's like. And by the way, do you do it for free still?
I do, yes.
Okay, the Will Work for Free program. So you're doing this for free.
You have a sign that you hold up?
You're doing this for the love of the city.
Right.
You care about the people.
Right.
Now that I've attacked you for 15 minutes in a row, tell me about this. What is your rationale behind making these procedures? Why are you banning groups of 50 plus? Why do you feel like there's no perfect decision? Why do you feel like that's the wisest decision?
Well, we actually talked about doing it with 250 people, and then the CDC came out with its new guidelines. So we're going off the CDC's guidelines saying 50 people. That's on public property. If you want to gather at Stony Creek, or you want to go into a pub and have your Moscow Mule.
I would recommend gathering
I do want to have a
in
Moscow
Shaw
Mule.
home. All Shaw homes, you can have 50 people or more is mandatory.
I love
So if you guys want to gather in large groups, you need to buy a lot of Shaw homes.
Or just a really big Shaw home.
Yeah, or a really big Shaw home, and that is a solution. I'm
What's
just
the
saying,
biggest home
Clive.
you guys have ever built?
5,200 square feet. So that's our largest.
That's your largest. Wow.
Yep,
I was expecting.
They've got they have over 81 floor plans, but they're all kind of within that same
Yeah, that's cool.
vein. Now, I want to get Josh Wilson's take on this with Living Water in just a second. But Z, why do we go to church?
Because it's good to gather and to,
What's the point?
Well, to make friends and to gather and to worship together and to be a community of believers that you lift each other up. Iron sharpens iron, and we're there to be Christ to one another, and that's what the kingdom mindset is. That's my humble opinion.
Now,
well, you caught me off guard on that one.
Well, I
want from pandemics to why do I go to church?
I am asking the questions I believe people are thinking. Okay.
Okay.
So when I think of faith, I think of two things. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I could touch your body?
Not with
I
social
know not
distancing.
everybody has got a body like you. Hey, I think about that. Think about George Michael. I think a lot about George Michael most times. But then I come back and I think about faith. Faith meaning a strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based upon a spiritual apprehension rather than proof. So faith, I think the place we should go to in a time of worry and fear would be a church.
Yes, sir.
That would make sense.
But we've banned church because you can't have, unless you have a small church.
Unless you have a really small church.
Like a Finnish apostolic church is doing fine right now because people didn't go there anyway. So
it's private property, so we're not really banning it, right? I mean, it's private property. I mean, they could still.
But a lot of churches are shutting it down.
They are.
They're shutting it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. In the CDC we trust. Isn't that what we say?
Yeah, no.
No.
It's not.
Okay, so Josh, what's your take on this whole thing? If you were mayor, and
Yes,
again,
sir.
you can argue with the real mayor right now.
Okay.
We got about 90 seconds left here. I'm going to have Steve Currington talk about it too. If you were mayor, would you shut down 50 people or less? Or what questions would you have for him? Or what do you think?
I think he's in a very unenviable position. Like I would not want to sit where he's at and trying to have the well-being of numerous people. For me, I will not answer for the mayor. For me, I think it's all been kind of blown out of proportion. Is my personal opinion. So, but I understand why he has to do what he has to do. Back to the faith thing, that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So, and do not worry about tomorrow, for today has enough worry of its own. I wish that all churches would say, hey, we don't let fear control us, but we control fear. That's just my opinion if I was a pastor. Now, I will speak on that. I will not speak on the mayor's difficult decision. But as a pastor, I believe you should have church.
You could run for mayor someday. That was very well done. Very skillful.
Very skillful. And we will pay you exactly what we pay the current mayor.
Which is zero.
Which is
well, if you paid me zero, I would actually be overpaid.
Which is what the little boy shot at.
Let's get Currington. I want to get Currington here on the mic. Currington.
Lambro.
This is a man who doesn't have a lot of fear. He decided to take a Lamborghini and wrap it in a pro-Donald Trump wrap. Give us some of the phrases that we can find on the Lamborghini and what website we can go to learn more about the Lamborghini, just so we can see how fearless you are, maybe for not good reasons, but tell us, what's the website? What kind of things have you put on this vehicle?
If you just Google Trump Lamborghini, we show up in most of the news.
Kendall, I'm going to Google it right now while Steve can ask the mayor any questions he has. Steve, do you agree with the idea to shut down gatherings of 50 people or less? Would you do it, or maybe just what questions would you have for the mayor about it? Because this is the questions that people are asking.
Well, I went to an event in Broken Arrow Saturday that I thought was awesome. It was the St. Patty's Day thing. What do I always forget? The Shamrock event, and there was a bunch of people there. It was cold and rainy, which might have been a reason to maybe not have the event. But I feel like as mayor, you kind of have to respond because you're, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he didn't say anything, he'd get a lot of critique, and if he does, he's going to get a lot of critique. And at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt necessarily anything if people don't gather for a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're being protective, I mean, I get that. Personally, I don't care. I'm going to go do my thing,
Yeah, and the thing I don't understand is that we've had people dying from viruses all our lives.
Hey,
all our lives, and yet why have we picked this one to plant a stake in the ground and go, okay, this is it. This is now a pandemic. This is going to kill everybody in the world, which I know nobody's saying that, but at the implying, I mean, I know people that are afraid to leave their house. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
There's another
viruses have been around.
Yeah.
And if you're healthy, your body has a virus is not designed to kill you. A virus wants you alive and healthy so you can spread it. And it can go from host to host. It's when people that are sick or they're elderly or they're infirmed, those are the ones that succumb to it. And that's not a lot of people. And you know what? Every year we have, how many, 200 people a day?
Well, I have the stats right here. They're all going to be on the show notes, all these stats. Right now, we know that 167 people died in 2018.
Per
day from the flu. 104 people died per day from car accidents. 10.9 people died from homicides. And 1.25 people have died from the coronavirus.
Why was it not a pandemic then?
I will tell the listeners out there, these are my action items I'm going to give you to navigate this, and then feel free to one-up me and see if we have a final question for the mayor. This is my action steps.
Hey, I have a stat for you guys.
Give me
another virus.
Can you? Is it cited?
Yeah, it's cited. It's 1,000 babies get aborted every day. And if that isn't a pandemic, nobody's worried about that. But literally yesterday, today, and tomorrow, they just kill babies. They can do abortion like it's no big deal, but everybody freaks out over a virus. So anyway, chew on that one.
Yeah, chew on that one for a little bit.
So this is what I'm going to say right now for the folks out there. These are the action steps I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you 3 because I love to give you 3. 1, while your competition is freaking out, outwork them. That search engine work, Z, you've been thinking about doing, that checklist you've been saying you're going to make, that workflow you were going to do, work on your business. Z, what does it mean to work on your business as opposed to working in your business?
Working in your business means that you're actually checking someone in, you're checking someone out, you're actually providing the goods, you're actually doing the job, you're actually putting the new tire on their car. I mean, you're actually doing the physical labor of whatever your business is. You're making the donuts. You're actually frying or cooking a donut, which should be outlawed due to all the obesity and heart attack.
1,772 people per day
are dying from heart attack. Yeah.
That
means you're working in it. A person who's working on their business, he's in the back office, and he's in there writing an article to help get himself top in Google. He's in there doing some SEO, that's search engine optimization.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
He's verifying the Google reviews. He's trying to encourage. He's trying to come up with the plan. He's thinking about the next month's billboard he's going to put up on highway, whatever it is.
Yep.
That's working on your business. And not in the business.
So step one, work on your business. That's stuff you said you didn't have time to do.
Jose.
Step 2, improve your branding. Go through your website, go through your print pieces, and ask yourself, what can I do to improve my branding? What can I do? Let's do it. Let's look at your website, look at all your print pieces, say, how can I? Because people say, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do this.
I know, I don't. I'm so busy.
Third,
I'm so busy on Facebook reading about the coronavirus.
I can't tell you, I'm not making this up. Almost every business owner that I've ever worked with has no clue of what's going on with their finances. They never have any idea of their income and their expenses. Take the time to take an honest look and make a decent balance sheet and figure out who you needed to fire anyway.
You're right. And I tell you what, one of the biggest things I see in a business, if you want a little something to do tomorrow or the next day or the day after that, if I ask you what's your most popular item you sell, and then if I asked you how much it cost you, true dollars, how much it cost you, and what are you selling it for, you'd be surprised how many business owners look at you and say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, because we're so busy.
I don't know.
But
I sell it for $9.99. How much does it cost? I don't know. In other words, you have no idea what you're making per item that you're selling.
You have no idea.
That is horrible.
It's an abomination.
That is flying in the dark. That is going to public bathrooms and not washing your hands. I mean, that's just asking for danger trouble.
Yeah, so this is what I want you to do, folks. If you're saying I don't have time to get these things done, get them done. And Mayor Craig, if people have questions about Broken Arrow, what's going on, or their local city, what's the best way? If people want to stay in the know, how do they stay in touch with their local government to know what the heck should be going on? Should we be watching the local news? Should we call our local cities? What should we be doing?
I think you get a hold of the city. I mean, you look on the website for the city. You look on the Facebook for the city. I've got a personal website. I've got a Facebook page. You can get a hold of us. That's really the best way to find out what's going on in the community. As we talked about, as Steve was talking about Shamrock, that was a private event held on city streets that they got a permit for. We can't cancel those until we did this, for events coming up in the next few weeks, which we don't have any. But there's no way to find out what's going on in the city without reaching out to the city itself. That's where you can get the real answer versus what you read on social media, what you read elsewhere is not necessarily true.
Mayor, I know I gave you a hard time on today's show, but thank you for making the tough call. I mean, you had to make a decision. You had to get all the facts, weigh all the information, make a decision. I appreciate you joining us here. And Z, are you prepared psychologically to end the show with a boom?
You know, I hate ending this show because I just want people to know out there, no fear. It's going to be okay. Wash your hands. If you feel bad, stay home. But try to get on with life as we know it. The worst that we can do is all be locked up in fear. That'll hurt our economy. It'll do a lot more damage than this virus could or would ever do.
I agree.
And I know that a loss of life is horrible.
Yep.
But if that's how we define how we live our life, we won't drive a car anymore. We won't eat at fast foods anymore. We won't. Nobody will ever have a tobacco product if you want. I mean, nobody will. I mean, you can just go down the list of things that are your choices to do.
Yeah.
That do lead to and potentially can lead to problems. And if we define that as we're not going to do it because you could die doing it, then we're pretty much just locked up in fear and we're in our homes.
Look at the history.
We run out of toilet paper and then you got to sneak out and steal it from your neighbors or something. I don't know.
Look up the history of our country and look at the statistical improbability of George Washington being able to overcome the things he did. Look at the statistical improbability of the Pilgrims being able to survive that first year. Look at these things. I'm just telling you, if you cannot move forward with faith, it's going to be tough. And so tip number 1, don't be bound by fear. And tip number 2, just for the hygiene thing, never, ever go into a Shell gas station bathroom. Just never do it.
Never do it.
Never do it. It's bad. It's bad when things are healthy. But really, I mean, it's like a third world country in there.
It kind of is.
And if you're watching right now and you work at Shell, I'm sorry, but what the Shell?
What the Shell?
What
Clean
the
that
Shell?
thing.
I refuse to because their keys are so big. That's why I don't. Do
I personally love going out to that area right there by the car wash. That's not adjoined to the gas station.
Right.
Walking out there with that massive key attached to a hubcap.
Right.
Something says, "I love you." Like it's almost like we at Shell appreciate you so
says
much.
that you really got to go.
It's kind of like staying at Ritz-Carlton in many ways.
Except exactly the opposite. Yeah.
True. All right, let's end this thing with a boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.